Hi, I'm Asher Thompson, your 2013-2014 State Executive Vice President.
And my name is Avery Taywater-Tiedemann, your State Executive Secretary.
This year, Georgia DECA is proud to announce that we've chosen the American Cancer Society as our Community Service Project recipient.
We have chosen, on account to create awareness for this cause, to interview my mom, Pam Tiedemann.
I was first diagnosed with colon cancer in 2002 and went through treatments for a year and was deemed what they term cancer-free or a remissive state. And then in the year 2010, it came back and have been in treatment since then, since 2010. Well, you don't want to believe it. I'm sorry. And I had 2 children that needed me. All I could think of is that they must have it wrong. They just must have it wrong. So you go to another doctor, and you go to another doctor, and finally you just accept the diagnosis, and then you do what you have to do to start fighting it. I'm not a quitter. And my children were not old enough to be on their own, and so I knew I had to stay clear-headed and directional in my approach to treatment and move on and stay positive. My extended family, the family, brothers, sisters, they live in another state. So I got several phone calls from them, but most of my support came from my church friends, my school friends, and more than anyone, my 2 daughters. They have seen it coming and going and loved me in spite of the good days and the bad days, and drove me and took care of me and held me when it probably wasn't what they chose to do on a Friday night. But and they prayed for me. They're my 2 best friends in the whole world. So I think it has made them more aware of their health, and that it doesn't matter how healthy you think you are, you still need to do precautionary doctor's visits and follow-ups, and just watch what you eat. It's mostly our diets that tend to get us, and so it's I think they're a whole lot more aware of the fact that we are responsible for the choices we make and how we live, and the attitude. Our faith and our attitude has a significant amount to do with the outcomes in treatments of cancers. I was at MD Anderson, and the doctor said that your attitude is more important than the medicines that you will actually be administered. So, and they make me laugh, and laughter's good. I do not know how a patient of any kind goes through long-term treatment without a sense of faith, conviction, belief that there are so many people that come alongside you or behind, around you and support you. And there was never a day that I didn't have a whole group of people praying for me and just calling me and asking me how I was, and sending little notes and scripture, and just making sure that I knew that someone was praying for me and caring for me, and my kids prayed for me. So it's imperative. I can't even imagine a cancer patient or anything terminal going through treatment and not having a support system through faith.
What was your initial reaction when you found out that Georgia DECA was going to partner up with the American Cancer?
Well, after I cried for a little bit and hugged my daughter and told her how proud I was of her, first of all, I thank God for that, because what happens with the American Cancer Society is it's such a vast organization that people will hear American Cancer Society, and it's just one of those things that goes in one ear and out the other, because it's so vast you can't put a face on it or you can't put a name on it. And although the American breast cancer is so encompassed under that American Cancer Society, you hear a lot about breast cancer, but you hear very little about colon cancer. And colon cancer affects men and women. It's not just a woman issue or a female issue. It affects all genders, affects both genders, and it kills a significant amount of people because it's something no one wants to talk about. So people aren't tested for it. But after Avery told me, and I had my little proud moment and thanked God and hugged all over, I just was so humbled that Georgia DECA would pick American Cancer Society to latch onto, because it tends to be such a large umbrella, and they're personalizing it. They're putting a name on it and making it just Georgia that's doing something about it, and it just made me so proud. And I think these kids with Georgia DECA are the most amazing young men and women, and so anytime you give them a task, it gets accomplished, and I'm loving that. Oh, they are enormously dedicated, and they don't do it just surface, it's from the heart. And that just made me so proud to even think that they would take on cancer. That's not always a pleasant subject. The one thing that I would teach others is perseverance. You never, ever, ever give up, and you never, ever settle for second best, whatever that is. A second diagnosis that you may not particularly care for, don't settle for that. And don't ever believe that the doctors know more about you than you know about yourself. There were many times a doctor would say something and I'd say, that's not what's in my heart. And he'd go, that's not medically sound. And I'd have to explain to him there's so much that goes on in your head and your heart, and you have to be determined. There is no giving up. You don't just sit down and wait for things to happen. You just have to build a day-to-day belief that God has a bigger plan.
Ms. Tiedemann, thank you so much for sharing your story.
And Georgia DECA, we're really excited that you're raising money for this cause this year.
If your chapter's doing anything amazing, be sure to contact the State Action Team.
Thank you, Georgia DECA, for choosing the American Cancer Society for your efforts. So many people will benefit because of you.